Welcome to the You Heard podcast, your go-to for Miami Hurricanes football. Ben, Joe, Coke, and CB break down recruiting, hot topics, and game day action.
All right, we'll talk about it at the end.
No, let's talk about this right now because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate that. I'm saying like,
what are we talking about, son?
Get into it. I felt
Keeping it a buck.
Let me close these curtains real quick.
You heard. Hey, what are we doing? Okay. Look at you using technology.
Friday, they show up really for everything, and it's meant a lot to this community for
right to it.
And most
Let's go.
like thank my mom and my dad because they've been there for me throughout this whole process. They've done a fantastic job. I love them to death. I mean, that's just
In case you missed it.
It means more than you guys could ever know. And I mean,
Salud.
this has been a long time coming for sure, but
I got water.
This time, I'd like to announce that I will be committing to University of Miami.
Let's go.
Get that man a hat that can fit. Tell him to
None of
call
those hats
Vinny.
fit.
Tell him
None
to
of those
call
hats.
Vinny and get him a hat
I know.
that can fit.
I know a guy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Tell him
them.
to call Vinny and get a hat that'll
This
fit.
hat doesn't really fit, but thank you guys.
Right.
No,
Don't
I know
fit.
that struggle, dog. I know that struggle. Oh, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a tough one, Joe. It's a tough
That's
one.
what it is, man.
Let's
That's
just
what
do
it
this.
is, man.
Y'all see, man, your boy's outside. Joe, I think you're on the wrong mic again, man.
Yo,
I got
this is
really
really bothering me right now. This is
Yeah,
really bothering
it's rough out here, man.
me.
It's
really
rough out
bothering me.
here. Listen, I don't know where you want to start with this. I know where I want to start with this. Let's start with the positive, man. Miami Hurricanes close the deal. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, wake us up in December is the motto. It's the, you know what I'm saying, it's the slogan. But, you know what I'm saying, closing the deal when we thought it was going to happen a month ago with Jackson Cantwell is nothing to sneeze at, nothing to be dismissive about. Big time get, regardless of yesterday he was the number one player, and today he's the 10th overall player. Now they're making excuses and pitching while another guy, you know what I'm saying, number one, when there's no new data or spring. I was y'all see my boy Joey Cantwell. Lucas is gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying?
This is what it is.
Lucas is gonna be mad, son. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, man. Look, full disclosure, you know what I'm saying? I was driving yesterday. You know what I'm saying, right at listening to the commit. And Joey calls me, what the just happened? You know what I'm saying? Like we started this just like y'all. We started to drop this verbal. We started to see the, you know what I'm saying, the tea leaves, you know, the shit that's been in the You Heard group chat. We were going back and forth what it all meant. You know what I'm saying? He put on that small ass hat. Full disclosure, all those hats would have not fit him. I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like when a hat is supposed to fit, and that was not one of them. Not one on that table would have fit him. Poke, aren't you, fam? Poke, aren't you? All right.
I can't send it.
I can't send it either. I'm gonna have to DM it. You're gonna have to give me a second. That's the same thing I had to do. For some reason when I locked out of StreamYard. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna figure this out. So Joey, let me know, man. What were your thoughts when it all went down, man? I know you were driving too.
Yeah, man. So before when the crystal balls and Dono balls and Dono didn't put in the ball, but
No.
On 3 RPMs came out. I tweeted something that said Nakos is messing with us or something like that, and you know, and shortly after that, though, we received an anonymous text. Not gonna say who it was from, but from someone very trusted.
Yes.
And said, "Hey, yo, fam, they not lying."
Nope.
You know what I mean? They not lying.
We didn't even ask.
Yeah.
We didn't send a feeder text like, "Hey, man, what you hearing?" was popping up? Nothing. We went.
So somebody must have saw the tweet.
Yeah.
And they text like, yo, it's not a lie. So at that point, I felt confident because this man is never wrong.
Never.
You know what I mean? So when he did it, it's just a good, it's just great to see young men commit, man, and do what they want to do and do it for the right reasons. Like, again, we're gonna get into the narratives and all that, but that young man doesn't give anybody the impression that he's going anywhere for the money. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like, he has his head on his shoulders, man. He's said that he wants the relationships and he wants to be the best O-lineman he can be.
Yeah. And
check,
people,
you know what I mean?
Listen, I don't think this is safe what he's doing, but he has the right to do this. Let's bring in our current, you know what I'm saying, professor, our professor of the pod. You see Joey's drinking. And when Joey's drinking, I don't know what's gonna happen, Poke.
You never looked more law enforcement than you look now.
Yeah, fam, I sort of got. I wasn't gonna say it, but I feel like you just pulled. I feel like you
you gotta put it out there like that, huh?
Very low.
If anybody saw you, they go, "Yo, that guy was on the CW."
You look like you're pulling people over currently
right now. Yeah,
right.
You got somebody forgot their blinker right now.
I'm sitting in my truck in a parking lot,
looking at people speeding.
Yeah.
No, waiting to go to this stupid training class.
I know you're not happy about that shit.
Yeah, no. Pope is currently looking at cars. That car looks like it's going 57.
I don't even do that. I don't even care.
I know. Not at all. Not at all. You're not even that. You're not even that. No.
I don't even care.
Yeah.
Ben, why do you sound like shit?
Because I'm not home.
Yeah.
And my mic cord broke right before I tried to get on here, so I'm using my earbuds. It's fantastic.
He's in a Howard Johnson right now.
Don't be disrespectful to Hojo.
Howard, you know sounds like you're in a 5-gallon barrel.
That's basically what it feels like that I'm in currently.
Anyway, I feel fantastic because Jackson Cantwell is a mother cane. So I don't know. I might have been the only one holding on to hope for that he was going to pick Miami, but I don't know. Maybe we all were, but the whole time I think I was feeling. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being hopeful, but
bullish.
Yeah, you're bullish
for real.
Yeah,
but no, I think. I mean, you've already hit on it, and the whole narrative behind it is just it's. I don't even have a word for how stupid and ignorant it is. To be honest with you, because the one thing everybody has pointed out was like, "Oh, he picked Miami," and the first thing they say is, "Oh, it was because he was chasing the bag. Oh, it was because of the money. Oh, they have the NIL." When the number one recruit in the country, and any 5-star for that fact, money is always going to be involved. Doesn't matter where you go.
Facts.
But because it's Miami, that's the only reason. When that is complete bullshit. Because the kid even said himself, if you stick around and watch the live, and afterwards when he was talking to everybody, he said it had nothing to do. It's like that wasn't the main focus like everybody's trying to make it to be. It's like he went there because of, number one, the relationships he had with the coaching staff and how much they recruited him and how much they were always there and they were always present. He even said it himself. The relationships he had with the coaches meant more to him than anything. It's a bonus that Mario Cristobal and Mirabal are two of the best offensive line coaches there are in the country. Mirabal being probably the top 5, maybe top 3 in the country. So yes, he's going to go there. He's going to get developed. He's going to, like he said, his agent worked everything out for him for the money. That was all going to be taken care of regardless of where he went. Now, if he would have picked Georgia, yes, he's going to get developed at Georgia because they're a top program. They develop players. It's just going to happen. Yes, he's going to get paid to go to Georgia. But what you're not going to hear is if you pick Georgia, was that, oh, it was because of the money. You are never going to hear that because of these
or
SEC
Oregon,
glazing motherfuckers are always,
or Oregon,
for that fact. And it's just gross to me that they have to spread this type of narrative just to get attention, just to get clicks, and run off the back of Miami. That's all they do. That's all they do, and that's all they're ever going to do. So you just saw today all these top recruits that are making commitments. Not once have you heard anything about NIL from any of these schools that they picked.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
One of them being Texas, who we all know has big money, and the other being Notre Dame, who we know has big money too.
Big money.
You don't hear that. You don't hear any of that.
Nope.
So anyway, that's my 15 minutes. I got to get to class. I'll leave you boys to it.
Let's go. Talk about it, baby.
Shows up, drops the mic, and he's out.
So I just had to speak my mind about it anyway. But
No
y'all
doubt.
have a great show. I'll tune in when I can. Hopefully, I don't get kicked
All
out
right,
of
brother.
class.
Have a good spring.
All right,
man.
fellas.
Be safe.
We'll see you.
Peace. Coming in hot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they relegate these young men to being that type of person, right? So when you're saying they're going to a certain school just for the money, you're disrespecting their whole process. Like
disrespecting their family.
Right. Of course, some kids are like, yo, I don't care. I mean, I like multiple schools. So if all things are even, whoever offers the most money, that's where I'm going. No doubt. No doubt. And why do we have a problem with that? Regardless. Why do we have a problem? This is what it is now. You know what I mean? So if you're going to the school for the money, so that don't mean you're not gonna, play hard, practice hard, and try to play and try to get a starting spot and do your thing, but why does that matter? Why does that? And we all know it's only when it comes to Miami, right? So Oregon, Nike, Oregon, Phil Knight.
Facts.
It's not the money doesn't matter.
Nope.
There, Texas, oil money. You know what I mean?
Ohio State.
Your man, what you call it on the sideline every time.
Matthew McConaughey
on the sideline all the time, walking back and forth. Not about the money? Nah, no money there, huh? Nah. Yeah, come on, man. Like it's ridiculous. Like I really don't give a hell about it anymore. Like it's ridiculous. I love it. Keep it coming. Yeah, talk about the money. Talk about the money. Let's talk about it. Yeah, talk about it.
That's Anthony Cristoforo Santinos. I believe he's produced 3 first-round picks and 1 top pick in the second round.
And then Maribel, yes, but then you got Cristobal.
Yep.
Who he's a head coach, but he coaches O-line. Let's not get it twisted. He coaches O-line. So you got him and Maribel as a team, and it's crazy.
Before I go into my deep dive and going on my meet the Grams type vibe, what bothered me was that was everything that was talked about. I want to give huge credit to Nixa, Missouri, and the Nixa school system.
Man, they did a
fantastic, streamlined. This is what you need to know. No nonsense. Commitment ceremony. Loved hearing from his online coach. I think it's the first time I've seen that in a while. Usually just the head coach, and then, you know what I'm saying? I loved that his parents were sitting with him. I don't want to take anything away from that. I thought the superintendent being there was dope. You know what I'm saying? And acknowledging other student athletes. That's not to be passed over. That needs to be mentioned 100%, man. I thought it was fantastic. That was one of the best I've seen. I could remember the TJ Alford from last year. Me and CB live reacted to that. That teacher talked for 48 minutes, yo. That was so long, dog. So long. All right.
Darius Hayes too. Well, yeah.
Yeah, Darius Hayes too. Yeah, it was long. Yeah, let's just
chill.
Let's move on. Let's move right past it. Here's what's bothered me about the money thing. And it's not, and Polk alluded to it, right? Showed up and dropped the bomb.
Real quick. Salute to the chat, man. Real quick,
yes.
We got 48 in here so far, man. Day ones, Juan in here.
Juan.
You know what I
SP
mean?
in the building.
SP1 in the building. K-Dub. You know, Polk. Greg, what's going on? Firefighter Kane, Jacoby, man. Cristoforo Santino.
Cristoforo Santino.
Yeah, Jay, what's going on, man? Salute to all y'all. Gold jacket, you. Salute, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah,
CeCe's gonna be y'all, man. Appreciate it.
Minimum top 5, top 10 pick.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
No. All right. Here's reason why we didn't go live yesterday. I would have probably gone a little bit crazier yesterday, but I wanted to take a second to take a breath and kind of see how national pundits, national media was reacting to it. The one that stood out to me, he said make eye contact, so I'm gonna make eye contact. Ari from Miami and Ari, right? You said I want to look at me. You said Miami fans, right? Yes, Miami hasn't been relevant since you were in high school, allegedly, right? We've had bad seasons. Before this 10-win season last year, we hadn't won 10 games since 2017. All valid and true.
Real quick, I'm just, I'm reacting to what you say. The relevant talk is, I think that's the wrong word to use, because even when Miami's bad, Miami's relevant, all the time, because everybody wants Miami to be bad.
Yeah,
and what I mean. So
but I'm saying what they're saying. It's like, of course you get. So if you haven't seen the clip, it's on there on 3.
I ain't even watching that shit. Yeah,
I watched it because it was. I don't hate watching because I know who he is and what they're gonna say. But when he, what I'm saying, like he kind of took it personally that we were criticizing him. Fam, like we get criticized, we get talked shit about, and we're a way smaller podcast than you, a former athletic employee that took the bag to go to on 3, which you put out there. I don't give a fuck. Make the money. That cool. I'm with you on that. But where you lose me is where you generalize Miami fans, because your network on 3, your business reporter, only puts graphics out when it comes to Miami. Joe, do you know how much Caleb Downs got to go to Ohio State when he transferred out of Alabama?
Nope.
Do you know how much Mateer got when he left Washington State to go to Oklahoma?
Nope.
Do you know how much quarterback from Tulane that went to Duke? Do you know how much he got?
Mensa, no. Heard some numbers, but no.
You've heard numbers, but there was no open edit.
We heard like 4. We heard like $4 million.
Yeah, we heard like $4 million, but that's what we hear, right? There was no open graphic from a network to put it out there. Now, look, you're inferring that, again, what you constantly do is you infer that what Miami's doing is wrong because they're paying their players. We have to overpay because we haven't been good in so long, dismissing the fact that we have a historically great offensive line coach as our head coach, because what he did at Alabama. Yes, Alabama continued it, but multiple first-round picks, dismissing Coach Mariball. Everybody pays, dog. He would have got the same money at Georgia. He would have got the same money at Oregon. He would have got the same money at Ohio State. To make it seem like it's just Miami has to overpay. I don't give a fuck that they haven't been relevant to you for 20 years. Miami's been a brand. We haven't been good by your metric or by all that in the last 20 years. 20 years before that, we won 5 national titles. Name another one that's won more in that time frame. We're gonna have to go to Alabama. Georgia just got hot. They weren't jumping off the screen before. My light just went off. They weren't jumping off the screen before. Put it all in context. You got plenty of time to cook, but you want to go towards a clickbait. So what Malik Rozier told you, you're always talking about the money. Because you're only talking about the money when it comes to Miami. You don't do narrative breakdowns and financial breakdowns about other programs. If you called it across the board, I'm cool. I'm Gucci. I got nothing to worry about. You put out the graphics, say, they're offering Jeremiah Smith $4 million to leave Ohio State. They paid Carson Beck $4 million. We could go down the list. Do we know how much any other quarterback that transferred got? Did you guys put out a graphic about those programs transferring and who they got? You didn't. When did you? I must have missed it, Joe. You ain't see it. Anybody in the chat, let me know. So don't clickbait and then get mad when motherfuckers go crazy on you. Because you don't put out you have the same numbers. You have a business reporter dedicated to this shit. Right? You have him dedicated to this shit. Why doesn't he put out all the numbers? Give me the numbers of everybody what they got paid. They're not cool. Yep. But don't get mad when they're like, Miami had to overpay. Fam, If everybody paid the same, then why do you choose Miami? You think so? What you saying? Georgia broke? You saying Oregon broke? Oregon, fam? Oregon, Nike, Oregon. Phil Knight, Oregon wants to buy a national title for the hasn't won a national title.
Have way more money than Miami, dog.
Come on, dog. Like it's just you want to talk this crazy talk. Of course, people are gonna go where they get paid the most money. But you motherfuckers make it seem like there's something wrong with that. You get mad, like you can't rage bait and clickbait and do these, you know what I'm saying, do these snippets and then get mad when people cook you, dog. It comes with the territory. It comes with it. It's stupid, bro. And again, like you're dismissing one second. You're dismissing the fact that how this young man handled himself. You pass right over that, and you're not a reporter where you go just right into a media personality. When you come over here to this media personality shit and you try to do that clip, then you gonna get cooked. And I'm open to having you on whenever you want to jump on and we can have a conversation when I have better audio and I'm in my home and I'm cooking better. But this is like, fam, is stupid, bro. Like there's no reason to do it. Yes, you gave 30 minutes because you knew Jackson Cantwell was going to commit to Miami. Cool, but then don't go, yo, man. But of course, Miami got to overpay. Fam, this isn't Mario's first year. This isn't Mario's second year. This is his fourth year. Just came off one of the best seasons, #1 offense in the country, and one of the best offensive lines. You want to focus on CC, motherfucker? Why don't you talk about Ernest Cooper, three-star guard? Came up when he was over almost 400 pounds and got developed in possibly a top 3 round pick. Markel Bell, raw as shit, coming out of JUCO, got developed into a first round pick. You don't think offensive linemen see that? Nah, man, it's got to be about the money, dog. It's the money. It's the money. It's not a 5'3", you know what I'm saying, 5'3" offensive line coach that's bullying these motherfuckers. That Jaden Wilkerson on this podcast told you, well, he punched in my chest. I felt it for a week. Showing me hand placement. Come on, bro. Come on, dog. Be better. You have more access to this shit, more information to it. Be better. You shouldn't be clickbait. You're not a fucking TikToker. You're a businessman. This is your job. Like, you're not out here for clicks, dog. Be better.
It's supposed to be real media, man. And it's wild that they don't even know the young men. They don't know them. How do you know? You've never had a conversation with them. You don't know them. You don't know their people. You don't know their lifestyle. But you come up with a general statement that they're just signing for the money. Mm-hmm. You don't know where they're at in life. You don't know what they want to do. You don't know their goals. You don't know even though they tell you, right? So Jackson Cantwell will sit there and tell you. And by the way, talk to 20 recruits that Miami is targeting, and 20 will tell you Miami's recruited me the hardest every time, son. Mm-hmm. Like every time. It's not everybody says this. That's a recurring theme with Coach Cristobal on the staff. Who's recruiting you the hardest? Everybody might not pick Miami, but everybody says Miami's recruiting me the hardest. It sticks with some kids, man. You know, that relationship sticks with some kids. It's comfortability. Like Jackson Cantwell is from Nixa, Missouri. Yep. Listen, you know the area. Missouri's in the sticks, brother.
Yeah.
You know, for him to go to Miami, to Coral Gables, to Miami, you have to feel comfortable going that far away from home. You have to. He mentioned the private school, small class sizes, intimate campus. Some people don't want to be with 90,000 other fucking students. Some people don't want to do that.
It's coming from a small town, especially. Yeah.
Some people like the small classes. Like, man, find out what the real is, man. Like this media shit is wild. Like y'all just saying anything. Yep. And it's for engagement, you know what I mean? And I get it, man. It's for engagement. You gotta drive those numbers up. You gotta drive those clicks up, man. We get it.
Yeah, I think we got a Georgia fan in the chat. Shout out to DA. I always appreciate you know what I'm saying? Appreciate what it is. But yeah, look, man, we're not trying to be Georgia, dog. Like that's not a head-to-head that we care about. And when there was a head-to-head, we beat you with the #1 recruit in the country. Oh, you didn't have to overpay. It's just I'm saying you don't have to overpay the cool dog. Then don't be mad and complaining about that. We got him. Let it go. It's over.
Georgia values him, but was not going to pay him that much upfront. Like, that's what's ill. How do you know the numbers, brother? Like, are you in the negotiations? Are you in the office? Like, are you in the books? How do you have the books, and how do you know who's paid what? Tell me how much Ellis Robinson is getting paid, man. You know what I mean? Tell me how much Elijah Griffin getting paid.
Yeah.
Tell me that. Let me hear that, because that's interesting to me. Tell me the total roster number for Georgia, because I'm curious. I want to hear that shit, because I'm sure it's well over 5-10 million. I'm sure it's well over. Tell me what it is, man. Like, that's wild to me, man.
All right, man. Again, Jackson Cantwell, congratulations on being a commit, man. I hate that the hat didn't fit. Probably the mullet wasn't the best decision. I'm saying growing the hair out, but you're a young man. Love it. Again, none of those hats would have fit. Let's get into this Caneswear ad, because we do have a guest. We wanted to make sure to not have him on in this section, because we went a little crazy. We wanted to be professional about this, but we'll be right back after this Caneswear ad.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Got to give this man an introduction, regardless how many times he's been here. Never take it for granted. One of our good friends, man. We've taken him to our spot. Yes, Joey called it our spot. I know you found it, but it's ours now. Yeah, it's ours.
It isn't ours. They don't know you.
No, they did. Shout out to Michelle and that old lady that was sitting at the desk.
Shout out to Christos. Yeah, you know.
Shout out to Christos. Yeah, you know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Our guy Izubee Charles is in the building, fresh off the road, fresh out of everywhere.
Doing some cowboy shit.
Chilling, man, chilling. I see Joey Cantwell. I'm crying right
now. Man changes his last name.
Blink twice, Zubie. Blink twice, baby.
Oh, that was some crazy stuff, man. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but all you can do is laugh with all the stuff that you see. But shout out to Mario and those guys for landing the number one prospect. Still to the on-3 industry ranking, the number one prospect.
Yes, absolutely.
Number one prospect in the country. Kudos to those guys, man. I said it. I was on the show yesterday. I said this is Mario's biggest win on the trail for a few reasons. Obviously, he's the number one guy in the country. He was the number one guy on their board. You stick it to Oregon, your old school. You stick it to Ohio State. We all know the national championship, and you beat out Georgia too, who's been, the bullies of college football the last, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years. So huge win for those guys. And, another thing too, obviously, in the 2024 cycle, you lose out on a top guy like Jeremiah Smith. That hurts. 2025, you lose out on, DJ Pickett. That hurts. And then now you got your big dog. I know third time's a charm, but man, that's a good one. I'm not saying it makes up for it, but it definitely feels good kind of getting that big well up on top of your board.
Yeah, man, definitely. Zubie, man, I got to ask you, yesterday when you're, on the inside, you're going through here, you start hearing things. How quickly did it all change? When did you start hearing whispers? When did you start hearing anything, man? I'm like, this might be something.
Yeah, so I remember I've been texting you guys throughout this stuff, and I said, all you hear right now is just lies. Just people throwing this out, people throwing other things out. But I would say, honestly, that Jackson and his family did a good job of keeping everything tight. And obviously, some things get leaked, but if it's not coming from the actual source, I'm not taking it into too much consideration. But I would say a few hours before, things really started going down, there's commitments is when you're like, okay, this is getting real. Like, obviously, I'm never going to say this is 100% a closed deal, but, a lot of things happen in the last hour, the last 30 minutes before a commitment. But to a few hours, that's when you really started hearing, all right, this is getting serious for, one program or the other program. But you kind of got a realization, okay, this is happening, which is something awesome. And obviously you see people putting in, predictions and things like that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not going to say, hey, this is 100% going down until that kid puts the hat on. And with Jackson, he barely put that hat on. But it's been one of those recruitments that was back and forth between a lot of programs. And Jackson said it really came down to Georgia and Miami, and he even said his decision happened. He knew in his mind he wanted to be a Miami Hurricane. After that OV, when he was coming back from Georgia on that plane, crazy to think. And then you see different predictions roll in for this school and that school and all that stuff. So, like I said, at the end of the day, the kid knew where he wanted to go a week ago, but it went public yesterday. And I know a lot of Miami fans are happy to see him unzip that jacket, see the cane to throw up to you, which is awesome.
Yeah, man, that's so dope, man. Do you? I know you hear everything. I know you hear things you're in the industry. You're on the inside. I'm not gonna call you a media guy because you're different. You're different. You know what I mean? You don't just talk just to be talking. But when you hear the money talk, right? It's just about the money. It's just about the money. When it comes to Miami, we see other people commit. We don't hear anything about money. Nothing. Nobody talks about money. But when it comes to Miami, it's just about the money, man. How do you feel about that? And where do you think that narrative is coming from?
I said this yesterday. It costs to be the boss, man. If you got the money, why not, use it to bring kids in and things like that. But I just think it's funny at the end of the day because every kid, every big time recruitment now is I'm not gonna say all about the money, but a large part of it is about the money. So that just to me, it shows a kid how much a program values you. This program is willing to fork up this amount of money, and these other schools like, no, we can't do it. Every school has enough money. If all those schools wanted to say, hey, we have this set amount of money, they easily could have gave it to them. It's just how much do we value this kid? We value this kid X amount of dollars more than you guys. We're willing to spend it on this kid or whatever it may be. Because like you said before I got on, I heard you talking about Georgia's roster. You think they're cutting corners with guys? Absolutely not.
That they want
corners with flipping Naeem Oford at the end of the recruitment. You think they're cutting corners? Everyone has the money to do so, but obviously it's the I'm not gonna say it's a trendy thing to say about Miami's paying kids, overpaying kids. Obviously, I look at when I see that stuff, I just look at it as jokes, like just people on the internet just clowning and fan base is trying to troll and trying to discredit Mario because at the end of the day, Mario was known to be an elite recruiter, land these big time guys when he was at Oregon.
From the get,
it's like, hey, he forgot to talk to families, he forgot how to make connections, and this is something that Jackson has been saying throughout the entire recruiting, or I wouldn't say the entire recruiting process, but since the spring and that visit when he came down, I think it was the Duke game last year. He said Miami's been recruiting him the hardest, point blank period. Obviously, he said, Dan Lanning may have been his favorite head coach or whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, he said the Miami Hurricanes have been recruiting me the hardest. They've made the trip to Nixa, Missouri a handful of times to see me. Obviously, Coach Mirabal and his development plays a big role in it. But the kid at the end of the day, Miami was pushing the hardest, and they showed that too. Obviously, I'm never the one to talk about numbers and things like that. But if Miami wants a kid, they're gonna give everything they have to do that. And I'm not gonna say they did or didn't with Jackson Cantwell, but just the narrative of Miami's overpaying kids and Miami's doing every big Power 4 program that's winning national championship, that's in contention, has the money. You see it with the rosters, you see it with recruiting. It's just like the cool thing to say the money things about Miami, which, like I said, I just laugh about and keep it pushing.
Man, crazy, son.
That's the way to do it. What's the way to do it? Hey, man, listen, recruiting official visits are about to pop off for real these next couple months. What are you hearing? What are you feeling? Who is your guy? I know we talked Osborne from West Boca. Love that commit. Who's another guy that stands out to you, man, that the class, I'm saying that the viewers might not necessarily know?
I would say the big tight end from Brunswick, Georgia, Izubee Kent. I talked about him on another something I did with Newberg, and that kid's just like a physical freak, man. He's 6'7", almost 300 pounds. I remember I watched him last summer, camp at Miami. I'm like, bro, this kid looks like he can play left tackle, right tackle. And then you turn on his tape, and then you talk to people down there, kids playing basketball, dunking on people. It's just like this kid's just a physical freak. And then they kind of described it as like the opposite of Elijah Lofton, but the same thing. Obviously, Elijah Lofton may not have the ideal body type for a tight end, but the things he can do is just different. And then this kid doesn't have the typical tight end body, but the things he can do is just different. So he's the guy that I really, really like. Obviously, like I said, JV and Mallory and all those guys at West Boca are absolutely insane. They have a 2027 D lineman, Jamar Thompson, who's crazy. Miami Northwestern saw some of those guys. Man, Calvin Russell is a dude that the Canes love. He's going to be a guy that I feel like he's going to come down to the wire with him. Obviously, we've preached about a lot of Syracuse noise, but Miami's really, really turning up. Really want to keep him home. They're a physical freak, man. He just comes in hockey, just running guys over. So it's a lot of South Florida flavor, but I think the kid I named Hezzy Kent is a guy that I really, really like, kind of out of state, that I feel like doesn't get as much love. That I think you really tune in and turn on his tape if you want to, have a good time for 5 or 10 minutes watching some kid just do absolutely freakish stuff.
Absolutely. Is he dead set on playing tight end like that? That's what he wants to do. Like,
yeah, so
he can make a lot of money as a left tackle, brother.
So he's dead set on, and Miami staff is dead set on it. They threw out the idea, we're not going to recruit you as a tackle. We want you to bring you in as a tight end and be like a mauler, like a 6 offensive lineman, and then you popping out, doing guys up on the route tree and making big plays. So they're dead set on bringing him as a tight end. And like I said, he's just a guy that I'm just like, damn, you're not supposed to be moving like that, being that big. But there's certain guys in each cycle that are freaks, and I say Hezzy Kent's definitely a freak of an athlete for sure.
Yeah. One of our guys, Anthony Mazan, has a question. We know he recently committed to USC, but how are we looking? Where are we with Kenny Pepe from IMG?
Yeah, he's been a guy that they've been recruiting since 8th grade. When they're at Oregon, they're not going to stop recruiting him from USC. I don't know if you guys saw, USC just lost their first big-time prospect, 5-star, just decommitted from them. So
it's going to start.
I'm not going to say how that goes, but
yeah, I saw it last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, history repeats itself sometimes. I'm not, wishing anything bad upon them or anything like that, but those early commitments are hard to keep on when things start to happen. So I don't think Miami's going to let up on Keon Pepe at all. He was probably right under or next to Jackson Cantwell on Miami's offensive line board when it came to guys that they're bringing in, because they're going to probably bring in 6 to 7. I would say even 8, maybe. I think that'd be the highest number to take. But they're going to bring in a lot of offensive linemen. Have 4 right now. I could legitimately see them bringing in 2 or 3 more for sure. And then another guy that's hiring their board says, hey, I want to join the cause. Why not? Because obviously Miami may lose, a lot of guys. Oh, yeah, this kid's an absolute monster. It's crazy. But we talked about it before. We don't want to talk about it now, but that offensive line is going to look a lot different next year. So they're trying to bring in the big boys and kind of fill those holes as much as they can. But Pepe's a guy that, Miami's not going to back away from anytime soon.
Have you guys seen Necessary Roughness, the football movie?
Yeah.
That's who Tommy Trophy reminds me of, that offensive lineman.
That's before Izubee's time, dog. Hey, come on, we old over here, Joe. Come on now.
Man, that old lineman who was protecting the quarterback, man. Like, I'm going to protect you. Yeah, that's
Tommy's insane.
Izubee, I think you can catch it on YouTube with ads. That's how old that movie is, man.
I got the YouTube premium. We've been ad free for about 2 years. I don't think I'm ever going back.
Absolutely.
I got to do it. Yeah, that's exactly who he reminds me of. All right, man. We saw Calvin Russell. You know what I'm saying? Is popping. I know you mentioned him, but you get to see him. You know what I'm saying? You got to see him at the Northwestern spring camp and spring ball and the workouts. How's he looking, man? For those of us that can't make it out.
Teddy said it the best. He calls his wide receivers the Avengers, because there's a group of them, with Calvin being like the Iron Man, the leader of the group, and it's just like when that kid's on, it's like you can't find that anywhere. 6'5", fluid, can just make big plays happen. And obviously, like I said, we've been talking about a lot of buzz about Syracuse and all of that stuff, and Fran Brown, because they're doing a great job of recruiting that whole entire program. They signed 3 kids from Miami Northwestern last cycle. They're trying to sign a few more. So there's a lot more just than the one-on-one, over recruiting, Calvin Russell. We're recruiting all their ballers, which I think is a great idea for a program like Syracuse. And obviously they beat Miami last year, so he's doing something good up there. But, Miami's not going away anytime soon with him. Shannon Dawson and Kevin Beard both went out there to go check up on him. And he thought that was big. He said, I believe he's committing on July 5th, which is his birthday. But anyway, this one goes, I think it's going to come down to December with I say this about any big-time recruit. Even Jackson Cantwell, these programs are not going to stop reaching out to him and saying, hey, man, give us a second look. I know you can make some money. That's just the name of the game. And with Calvin Russell, like I said, right now, I would say Syracuse is kind of at that top and setting the pace in that recruitment. But this isn't going to be, over anytime soon. And I'm excited to kind of see how this unfolds. And I think in-season play is going to play a huge, a role or a huge factor in his commitment because, a lot of people hate to admit it, but you have the ammo to talk if you're Syracuse. We beat these boys head to head. What can you say? Like, my bad.
Just have to pound them out when they come to Miami, man.
Exactly.
Whatever. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm excited to see the kid. The kid's an absolute freak, man. Had the chance to watch him these last 3 years. Super excited to see what he does, this upcoming year, and excited to see where his recruitment goes too.
Izubee. Because we got Jackson Cantwell, how does that impact our recruiting that quarterback for 2027? Is that kid from Houston like the number one
100%
on the board? Yeah.
No hesitation.
Yeah, you want to hear something crazy? These people down there are, I think, I'm not going to say prophets, but they know their quarterback. So this kid, Peyton Houston, came to Miami as an 8th grader. It's a nice little kid, braces, looks like he's super young. And then talking to one of the guys, where he's going to be the number one quarterback in the country. Like, come on, I don't want to hear this. He's like 5'9", not undersized, but, not the 6'4", 8th grader that looks like he hit puberty 10 years ago. He's just like a nice kid. He's like, his arm is insane. And then you talk to more people around here, like, yo, this kid is going to be like legit. And then he throws for like 8 touchdowns and 800 yards in a game. And then I'm just like, you know what you're talking about, buddy. But yeah, he's been their kind of guy in that 2027 class. And I don't think Cantwell's commitment is going to really affect the 2027 class as much as it will the 2026 class. Obviously, that's right now. And I was saying this, with Newberg yesterday. It's kind of like, hey, we got the number one player in the country. We're off 10 wins. We're trending in the right direction. Why not, join something to be great? And then you got guys like Jordan Campbell who are, pushing for a lot of these other big-time recruits. You have a leader, Alpha, Darion Coleman, who's making a name for himself on the 7-on-7 circuit. A lot of guys, want to play with the guy that has that bravado that, hey, follow me, I'll lead you to the victories type of deal. So don't think it'll have a big impact on 2027. With 2026, for sure, I can see Miami using Landon Cantwell as some ammunition, too, against, other programs around the recruiting guys. Like, hey, he made the choice to come join us. Why not you? And, be a part of something great, which, like I said, I'm excited to see with OVs coming up and really getting one-on-one FaceTime with these kids, after these really important visits.
Dogs want to play with dogs, man. Dogs want. That's the test. That's what it's been. You want to play with the best. When you see the best going to a school, you want to join it, man. So, yeah, huge get.
Yeah. Back to 2026. As we already move the cycle over. You see, he's drinking. This is what happens. He doesn't drink, dog. I apologize. He's got the pinky out. It's wilding right now.
I drink today.
Yeah, 26. Man, with Jackson Cantwell committing. When after the commit, I know you talked to some recruits. You don't gotta say who. That's not what we do here. What was their reactions, man, and what were their thoughts when you talked to them? Did they hit you up? What was going on with that?
Yeah, no, they were super excited, and it was a lot of the 26 commits and a few other guys. But it's just like it's kind of like not breaking news, but some of these kids don't even know what's going on behind these recruitments. So when they see like, damn, Miami just landed the number one player in the country, it's like, all right, let me kind of see what they're talking about a little bit more. Kind of perks the ears up a little bit. Even some guys, on Twitter, we're tweeting like the googly eye emoji, and obviously that's you can take that lightly, but sometimes like, okay, kids are starting to pay attention a little bit more because, like I said. Right, and Joey said too, dogs want to play with dogs, and if I'm Miami, I'm using this to recruit Derek Cooper. Hey, come run behind the biggest offensive line and the best offensive line in the country. Yeah. If I'm a top defensive lineman, I'm saying, hey, iron sharpens iron. Let's make each other better every day at practice. Obviously, they have the quarterback in Darion Coleman right now, so not much recruiting there. But I'm using that as every different recruiting pitch, every different angle, and I think it's going to pay dividends with them landing him and keeping him in the class as well too. So Miami always is kind of flirted with the top 5, top 10 classes. I really do think they can make a run at a top 3, and I'm not going to say a number 1 class right now because that takes a lot of firepower, and it's really early.
USC's number 1, right?
I believe.
Right
I think
now.
I think it's because they have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
at least top 3. At least top 3 though.
I'm confident enough to say push for a top 3, and depending how the first week or so goes in summer OVs, that'll kind of give my decision if I want to say, hey, these guys are going to make a run for number 1 class. But like I said, man, landed the number 1 prospect in the country. That is good for a lot of reasons. Not just the impact he's going to have in core games with the people he can potentially bring to that 2026 class. And all these kids have that same mindset. Camden Porter said, hey, this is going to be a national championship winning class. Jordan Campbell said, yo, this 2026 class is going to be the one that brings, the trophy back to Miami. Hopefully they get it done before that, but you just love hearing that mindset from these kids, having that championship mentality headed into a program and wanting to bring something back to a historic school like Miami.
Absolutely. Joe, what you got? Oh, hold on. Wait, we gotta acknowledge Mo. He finally made it. 45 minutes late. We're on every Sunday and Wednesday at 6. This man routinely is late. That's my guy, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to my guy, Mo, man. All right, Joe, what you got?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the questions, man. Good question from Anthony. Apparently, he had a massive relationship with Jared Curtis, talking about Cantwell. Is there even a slight chance that Miami flips him from Georgia? I don't think so, but nah.
Yeah, no, they're on guy. Hell of a player, but I think they offered him like a year and 2 ago. They never visited. They're set on Coleman. Coleman's their guy. He's going to be another stock ride that just continues to rise. There's going to be, I'm going to tell you guys, mark your calendars. OT7 championship is going to be June 25th or 26th at St. Thomas Aquinas. It's going to be the best of the best. I'll put it in now. He's going to be one of the top players there overall. He's going to kill it. So that's going to be another.
When is it? June
25th. It's a 2-day thing. So June 25th, June 26th. It's like the championship.
It's
going to be insane. And I know he's going to go crazy.
It's at St. Thomas?
It's at St. Thomas, yeah.
We might have to go there.
It's going to be crazy, man. Every top skill position, every top quarterback is going to be there. So mark your calendars. It's going to be another good performance for Darian. I'm calling that right now. What day is it? It's May 14th. It's 6:51. We're going to come back when he's hosting the trophy at the end.
I might have to tell wifey I'm going to get some milk at the store real quick. Come back in a couple days.
She saw this, Joe. She's watching right now. Oh, would you? She's in the room next door, man. What are you doing?
Go get some cigarettes, man.
You won't even smoke. I got shots on King says, any word on James Johnson or Johnny Jones? Also, 4 J's is crazy.
Yeah, all the J's, man. James Johnson, he's down at Miami Northwestern now. He's a guy that I feel like this is going to be a longer process for him. I don't see a commitment coming anytime soon. I wouldn't say Miami's out of it right now, but I think like Georgia, Texas are kind of the teams kind of setting the pace right now. And then Johnny Jones is another guy that they really like at tackle. Like I said, they're probably going to bring in 2 or 3 more guys on that offensive line. He's a guy that he's going to take that OV and you always get these little recruiting updates on these guys, kind of seeing where the head's at. But the real juice comes in after they're taking these official visits, because that's when they really, really get to sit down and see things. So I'm excited to kind of pick, Johnny Jones's brain after that OV and James Johnson's brain after that OV too. But right now it's kind of the calm before the storm, I would say. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back where you get the real juice, where you really see, where a kid stands in his recruitment.
Are they doing summer OVs?
Mm-hmm. So
they are.
May 30th, that weekend's going to be the first one, and it's going to go to the last weekend of June. Well, the second to last weekend of June.
Really?
Yeah, because July's the dead period this year.
Completely dead. Like, you can't do anything in July.
Can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they'll do in-season OVs just because of the logistics standpoints from it, and it's just not.
I remember hearing something about that. What's the word on? This recruitment has been quiet, but J-Rock, man, Jason Lopez, man, that's my guy, man. What's the word with that?
Miami's cooking with hot grease, man. I mean, they love him. They're turning it up. He's taking his OV June 20th. And the interesting thing with him is, I don't know if people know how good of a basketball player he is. It's just this kid does not get a break from sports. So he finished his high school football season, then he jumps into basketball. As basketball finishes, he has travel basketball. As travel basketball starts, he's playing spring ball. When middle of spring ball, he's playing summer ball. So he had to work out a whole bunch of things for his OVs, but Miami's definitely in the mix. They've turned it up since the end of his junior year. He's had, like I said, he has an OV June 20th. He's one of the top, wide receivers on their board too, man. The kid just gets it done, which is awesome. And I'm excited to see. I hope they land him, because I think he's going to come in and just be a dude from day one, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
I just want to address this real quick. Hey, Josh, that was accurate.
It does look like that, Josh. Good call.
Absolutely the right call. I can't even say nothing back. So I salute you, brother. I salute you. Thank you for that fantastic comment because you're 100% right.
Ooh, I will say this though about J-Rock. There's a school in the ACC. I'm gonna just say NC State is making a pretty crazy push at him right now. I don't know if you can probably put two and two together why NC State's recruiting South
CJ
Florida kids.
Bailey.
CJ Bailey.
But yeah, when he mentioned them, I was like, oh snap, okay. But I think he said Miami, NC State, Kentucky, and I don't know, like someone else. Someone else is really pushing, but I like Miami this right now.
Is it because he's trying to play basketball too? Because Kentucky, I can see he would be in that mix because he's trying to play ball, maybe.
So basketball is big for him, but I think he has committable offers. So I think like USF, TCU, Arizona State, Florida State, and like 5 or 6 other schools. Florida State's another one that's in the midst that's like offered him basketball. So I don't think Miami's offered him a full ride at basketball, but obviously they'll work something out where he's either a walk on or Miami takes the hit for the scholarship and he's just whatever it may be. But I don't think playing basketball at both schools is going to be like the end all be all for like a guy like Kendra Harrison, Oregon Kim. He said he has to play at both schools. Obviously J-Rock doesn't want to play at both schools, but I think you're going to get it done for a guy like that regardless of that situation.
Facts. Anthony Mazzano asks, who are the targets at corner after we got Portis and Seatbelt?
Local guy Justice Fitzpatrick is somebody that they really like. Chauncey Kennan up there at Booker is a guy that they really like at corner. I know they have John Tavius Wyman right now. That's kind of a safety corner.
Forget about him. Yeah.
I would say the two guys that I mentioned are pretty high up there with Miami right now. And a young man from California went to the same high school as Hayden Lowe, David Benjamin. He's pretty high up there for those guys, and just you'll start seeing more as guys take OVs, guys cancel OVs, new guys pop up as spring ball continues because they're out on the roads of evaluating guys, and this time of year is when a kid will go from a no star to a 4 or 5 star out of nowhere. So those 3 guys that I mentioned are kind of guys to know that have been regular communication, regular guys on their recruiting trail. But I'm excited to see what new guys pop up, and you never know with decommitments, guys coming back on the market and all those little things playing a factor into it. Oh, Devin Jackson out of Orlando. He's a guy that I absolutely love, man. I had the chance to watch him in Tampa play, and he's like one of those safeties. Like, okay, this kid, has that juice, a big body that can, make the plays, but when he's rolling back there, he's moving.
Ellis Robinson still on the board.
We have to turn back the time machine.
Oh my God, man, that hurt me so bad.
Never gonna let that go, though. Never gonna let that go.
Tristan Keys, is that still?
Yeah. So Miami staff actually visited him yesterday.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So they went to his school, and he's the type of kid that's never gonna say no to a program. Obviously, Miami's invested a lot into him too, and I believe he's still taking that OV, and I think he wants to try to get down to a game at Hard Rock, but nothing set in stone. But obviously, Miami making that trip up to Mississippi to check on him is significant in my eyes because he's coming to LSU. We know that. We know they're not going to cut any corners when it comes to competing for him and the stuff that we talked about. That's the shall not be named or whatever it may be. But I'm excited to see if they can chip away and potentially make a serious run at him, which I think they want to do. But I do think it's going to be hard to pull him out of SEC country because when they were recruiting him, Miami was the only school outside of the SEC that he was even considering. But to me, that's also a good sign. But it's going to be hard to pull him out of that SEC country. But absolutely love the kid, and Miami's going to do their all to try to land the number 1 wide receiver in the class too.
Yeah, no doubt. Last question from Chi-Town King before we get you up out of here. Well, we're going to hang out and we have a different conversation after this.
No, we have too.
Yeah, you got to go eat probably. Izubee Charles.
Yeah, I went up to see him in about a week and a half ago, man. Miami's doing a great job. I know some predictions rolled in, but he's not going to commit anytime soon. He said he might take this to December. But Miami's doing a great job. You mentioned Miami, Missouri, Louisville is another one. Penn State is like this 4 schools that he said really, really trying after him. And, just talking to some people, close to his circle, they think Miami would be a great fit for him. JT, he's been to Miami, was in Miami twice this spring. They really feel comfortable down there. And, Miami's putting that effort to make him feel comfortable, which is huge. And great prospect too, man. I remember I posted a video of him. Somebody said he looks like a running back. I'm like, this kid just looks like a physical freak, man. Just stocky. Like, I don't know what they're feeding these high school kids today, but Izubee Charles is definitely one of those kids that are like, okay, wow, you can see this kid making plays early and often in college. But I said, I think Miami's doing a great job in this recruitment. I don't know if it's going to pop off now, but he said he made it seem like he's going to take his time in the process and kind of really, thoroughly look at all these programs. But, like I keep saying, I think Miami's in a good spot for him for sure.
No doubt. Joe, you got one last question?
Yeah, man. Just to close out, man, who's next? If you had to guess, who's pulling the trigger next, man?
I would say it'd be somebody from that first OV weekend. I can't remember all the names off the top of my head because I think right now is going to be, like I said, kind of quiet, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question, Joe. You got me stumped on that one. Who's next? I'm next. I'm gonna commit to the university. But in all seriousness, I think I wouldn't say I would be surprised if something happens in the next 2 weeks, but I do think that the OV weekend is going to be when you start seeing things start rolling again. Because, like I always say, it usually comes in waves. It's usually, the official visits, that's a wave, and then you go quiet a little bit after that, the first few weeks of the season. Then, week 4, 5, 6, you'll maybe get a couple guys and go quiet after that to end the season. And then December comes around, obviously close strong, goes quiet after that. And then the beginning of March, spring, it goes. It's just like 4 kind of big pivotal points. And then the next big one is going to be, I think, when OV start rolling through for sure.
Yeah, man, just to let the chat know before we get about it, remember, visits go from starting end of May to the middle of June. And then all July is a dead period. So there'll be no contact. It's probably when people start making their commits before the season starts in August. Izubee, we can't ever thank you enough for your time, man. Your family, we appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all so much. Remember, we're on every Wednesday and Sunday at 6.
Where you at, Izubee? Tell them where to find you, man. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm repping the merch. Canesport.com, baby.
Hey.
There you go.
Twitter. And then my is Izubee Charles on Twitter as well, too. So make sure to tune in, man. We got the juice over there. We got the juice for sure.
Tell Matt to calm down, man. Tell Matt to calm down. He be hitting them in the morning. He be hitting them with facts, though. I like Matt, man.
Matt
a lot of people don't like him, but I like Matt.
5 a.m. in the morning, he's that hot. It's crazy.
They call me the happy ray of sunshine, and then Matt comes through. But Matt keeps it real, man. So you got to respect somebody.
And he always has evidence to back up what he says, man. Always.
He needs to be in the lab.
Yeah.
Last one. Soup. Expected. We expected that to happen. We're not gonna put Izubee on the spot for that. That's nothing he does. That was expected. We talked about it yesterday. We knew it was gonna happen. All right, man. Appreciate y'all so much. Remember to check out the website. Make sure I drop the merch. Here it is. Make sure to check out the website, man. Scan the QR code right there, man. For Joey, Benny, our guy CB and Poke, Izubee Charles. Thank you again, my brother. We're gonna talk for a couple because now we get the real and the raw. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be good, be safe. Peace.
Thanks for watching. You heard. Thanks for listening. We appreciate y'all. You already know every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. You already know every Sunday. Right on time. You already know.